Master Chairperson, judges, and invited guests. According to Farm and Food Care Canada, less than 2% of Canadians are farmers. Look around this room. Imagine if it was filled with 100 people. 2 of us would be responsible for growing all the food to feed everybody else. In 1931, 1 in 3 Canadians lived on a farm. Now it's 1 in 50. Many people are generations removed from the farm, the farmer, and the land that feeds us all. These statistics show why now, more than ever, we must share our story of agriculture. My story begins over 100 years ago when my great-great-grandfather, Philip Neubauer, settled in the Clover Hill district north of urban Alberta in 1910. Philip was a farmer who immigrated to Canada in search of a new beginning. He worked hard to carve a living from the prairie sod. Within the first year of moving on to Canada, he built a home for his family and a barn for his livestock. Today, both buildings still stand on our farm as a testament to the past. Philip transformed the grassy prairie land into productive cropland. He grew wheat that was shipped to the hungry people building towns, cities, and infrastructure to shape the future of our great nation. His hard work, determination, and sacrifice paved the way for the amazing life that I get to live today. I'm a farm kid born and raised. I ride horses, raise 4-H steers, and gather eggs. I've witnessed the joy of birth, and I've cried the tears of loss. Living on the farm has taught me so much. Although I'm not old enough to operate farm machinery, I do help out in other ways. For example, this year I was promoted to lead rock picker. I took this position over from my brother who learned how to drive the tractor and air seeder. Every spring I head out to the field to gather rocks just like my forefathers. As I grimaced at the assigned task, my parents reminded me that jobs like this build character. Each time I add more rocks to those huge piles, I'm grateful that my relatives had so much character, because if I live to be 100, there will still be plenty of rocks to pick. Family farms have always been the backbone of Canadian agriculture. More than 97% of Canadian farms are still family-owned, and many, like mine, have been handed down from generation to generation. Even at my age, I recognize that being in the egg business can be a real challenge. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too wet, it's too dry, inputs are too expensive, machinery is too complicated, and markets are way too volatile. These are some challenges that we are all very familiar with, but I believe that there is an even greater threat to agriculture that many of us don't even realize. The opinions and views of our customer, the purchasing public, are having a far-reaching impact on how we can do our job. Social media has made every keyboard warrior an animal health expert. The scary part is that information, right or wrong, can travel at the speed of a keystroke. In May of this year, I realized that I can contribute more to agriculture other than just picking rocks. I had an assignment in language arts that provided me with the perfect opportunity to speak up for agriculture. Our teacher told us to create a persuasive essay to support our view or opinion on a topic. I wrote about how certain fast food chains use unfounded fear marketing campaigns to convince customers that their greasy burger is somehow superior to the competitor. The title of my essay was The Delicious Truth About Alberta Beef. My parents were great resources for this assignment, as our family is registered in the Verified Beef Quality Assurance Program. My mom showed me how this program trained her to keep very detailed health records for each of our cows. At any time, my mom can pull out the cattle book and reference any cow in our herd. She knows if a particular cow has received an injectable antibiotic, the condition treated, date of treatment, drug used, and its withdrawal time, this being the time that it takes for the drug to leave the cow's system. When we say all of our beef is antibiotic-free, we mean it and can produce the paperwork to support this claim. I use this writing assignment to explain how we make sure our beef is safe for people to eat. Our family is also in the process of completing our environmental farm plan. We are farmers committed to environmental sustainability. Programs like Verified Beef and Environmental Farm Plan illustrate our dedication to applying best practices on our farm. Sharing these details when telling our story will help our customers understand that we follow high standards for food safety, animal care, and that we are stewards of the land. I believe that the best thing we can do for agriculture is to speak up, to talk to others about how we farm and why we farm. Food is one thing that we all have in common. Food isn't trendy or fashionable. It doesn't go out of style. You never hear someone say, "I'm just not that into food." So let's get talking. I'm guessing that some of you here today are farmers. I challenge you to start a conversation about what you do with someone outside of your circle of influence. And guess what? After your visit, you'll have someone new in your circle. Sharing our stories with honesty and transparency is not only important, but vital to the future of agriculture. Developing public trust in our industry begins with you and me. We need to have conversations and be proud of what we do. I suggest you start by joining events like Open Farm Days held each year in August. This is an opportunity to open your farm gates and showcase agriculture to visitors from the city. This may lead you to hosting regular on-farm tours, or you may wish to start volunteering in the classroom agriculture program as a presenter. Every little bit helps. We all need to share positive messages about how food is grown and raised. Agriculture is often taken for granted. Many folks just assume that the food magically appears on the store shelves. But for those of us who make a living off the land, we realize that agriculture is the fundamental connection to life.